What if I told you that you'll never have to create a course ever again and that the learners are going to be able to create courses automatically? Well, hopefully that's what I'll be able to do today. I'm going to talk about something that I'm calling agentic courses. I don't know if that is accurate, but I thought it was a cool name, kind of explaining uh, what I've got set out here, which completely flips the script on how courses are traditionally created today. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what I think an agentic course is, and I'm actually going to show you an agentic course creator that I built as a proof of concept using a tool called v.0 and another one called bolt.new, I think. And we'll go through that and you'll see how these work. And I'm going to explain why I think this changes everything yet again for course creators or people who are starting, building, growing education business who think that creating good content is the way to actually build a profitable business. So, um, kind of a preface just to this at the start. By no means am I a coder or a technical person, even though I'm using these two tools called v.0 and Bolt. I apparently, again, this is my ignorance from this as not being a coder. A software coder basically uses this, a vibe coder, to explain what they want the application to do. And these coding tools build it out in the background. So that's what I did to at least get this proof of concept. So if you're watching this and you go, James, you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to software and stuff, yeah, you're absolutely right. So I'm just going to show you what I built. It's a working proof of that it actually happened. So I'm sure that as I get into this a little further, either I'll build the app or someone or many people will start building these agentic course builders. And you know, I was wondering, I wanted to make sure what actually a agentic course is or what's an explanation of it. So I did go and ask Perplexity, and it's basically, you know, what they said was it's educational programs or pathways that emphasize agentic learning. This concept involves students actively taking control in their own learning process rather than passively receiving information in agentic courses. Learners are encouraged to engage proactively, make decisions about their education, and contribute meaningfully to their own instruction. So that's what it's talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Well, actually, first, think about this for a second. If you've been teaching courses for a while or creating courses or have a course business, see if this makes sense to you or these are the things that you actually go through on a regular basis. So if I say to you, you know, have you created a course before or are you going to create a course? This is normally the process that you as an instructor has to go through. So, instructor, you know, you have an idea or you have a request for a course from existing customers or customer. So you come up with an idea. You figure out, is there enough demand for it? Is it worth making? Is it something I should spend my time, energy, and effort on? After that, you may do some research to supplement what you already know, or at least curate the stuff that you know so that you can put it into the course about the idea, the topic that you've identified. You know, after that, you may put a lesson plan together, some kind of syllabus on the way that you think it should be taught or organized from your experience. And then, you know, you've got to create the content. And the content means the written content, the quizzes, the structures, all of that additional written stuff, and maybe even scripts to create videos, right? Whether that be graphics or slide decks, you're going to have to create that additional visual content to be able to help to instruct it. And then after that's done, you have a static piece of content that you can put into some platform that people who want to learn about that will actually come to and consume the way that you've got it put together in that static platform. Now, I'm sure if I talk to 100 different people creating courses, for all intents and purposes, that or those are the things that they do at a minimum to create a course. Now, it's been really exciting over the past, you know, year and a half or 2 years because a lot of those tasks are ones that we can now use AI to, you know, come up with a good idea, verify that there's people that want to do it. Who are the people that would take the course? To do the deep research, to put it together in a syllabus, to actually create the content that I, as the instructor, would have to verify. And that could be written content, even images now. And then, you know, maybe scripts for videos. For instructors, a little hard to make videos With AI at this point, they can be scripted out. I'm sure that will change over the next year or so. But for now, you still have to do a video, right? It's like you either have to do a screen capture or headshot or record stuff and do all of the stuff that's involved around video if the course content requires or would be looking at video. So that's what happens now. But what happens in a Agentic course, and I'm going to show you the working example that I put together in a second, is fundamentally different because in an Agentic course, what happens is the learner requests a topic, an outcome, and the questions they want answered. It's not the instructor coming up with the idea. It's not the instructor figuring out the demand. It's the person who wants to take the course. How do I do this? How do I get from here to here? What is the process? What do I need to know? What do I need to avoid? They're the one that's asking the question. I'll turn my ringer down here that's been going off a couple times. Yeah, so they make the request. They also make the request as, how do I want it to be delivered? Do I want 3 lessons or do I want 15 lessons? How deep and detailed do I want it? Do I want quizzes, for example? Do I want to have handouts? All of the way that it gets delivered has nothing to do with the instructor creating that content. It's more about the learner going, this is how I learn. I want a course personalized to me and me specifically. So we got a learner request for the course content, we've got a learner request for the actual course delivery details. What's after that? Well, of course, AI. In this particular case, in an AI or agentic course, the AI tool, in the example I'm using, it's Gemini 2 and the little proof of concept that I built. What it does is it will either search videos, whether they be on YouTube or Vimeo or any other public repository of videos, but it goes out to search the videos based on the request that that individual learner has made. Once it has the appropriate videos that are related to the request, it analyzes those videos and creates the content that is required to teach the learner what it is they want in the delivery method that they want. And it also references the videos that were used to come up with the answer. So this is completely flipped from what we normally do or what we have been doing. And I'm going to show you how this particular works. I have 2 examples. I'll show you the first one as a working model. I'll show you the second one just so that you can see the difference in the interface. And again, these are ones that I put together with a tool. In this case, the tool, this one I'm going to show you. Let me do this one first. The one I'll show you right now, this one was called, this is the one from V.0. And again, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a coder, I have none of that background. This is just what came up based on me asking it to create an application that would allow the learner to give a video or some videos and have a course created from it. So that's the first version that I did. So this Vimeo course creator, I used Vimeo in the example. It could have been YouTube, for example, or any other place to get videos, but I used Vimeo as the place for the videos. I basically said this one transforms Vimeo videos into structured courses. Enter the video URLs or your learning goals, and we'll create a personalized course with relevant sections organized into logical lessons. That's the way I had this set up. So create a course. This application analyzes Vimeo videos and creates personalized courses. So basically what I did is I had some Vimeo courses that were public and had a transcription, and I just added the 3 of them. And those particular courses were on Vimeo here. And let me just make sure that I got the screen here. There we go. So they were here on Vimeo. I just took some of the ones that were public and it was about creating YouTube videos. So those are the ones that I was actually using and actually set up. And in my case, let me go back to our thing here. There we go. Make sure you got the right one. I put the videos in and then I basically gave her a request and said, you know, I want to be able to create my first online course. I did a basic one. I didn't put anything that was, you know, overly complex. I just want to show you what actually happens here. And if I go down a little further, I have course preferences, and I showed this in a previous video. These ones work now. So modular, standard, comprehensive? Do I want a difficulty level, learning path, content style, practice exams, quizzes, comprehensive, that kind of thing. So this is the important part. If I'm looking at this and I say, okay, I'm an instructor and I'm going to create a course, and I'm a rocket scientist and I create a course, but a beginner goes to take the course content that I created, unless I have it that is wide or broad enough for both the beginner and the advanced person, I'm either going to lose the beginner or lose the advanced person because the content isn't relevant to them individually. When I'm creating a static course, it's me creating the course in the way that I think it should be delivered to everyone. This one, it's the learner saying, hey, create a course the way that I want the course to answer the questions that I want. So I went in here, took a look at this, put my videos in, answered it, set it up that I wanted, and I create a personalized course. So what's happening in the bottom here is this request has now been handed off. In my case, I set it up with Gemini 2.0 Flash. Gemini 2.0 Flash is analyzing the transcriptions of the 3 videos that I had, and it's now creating a course based on the learning styles that I have requested. And in fact, there's my quick course right now. From YouTube to a course, a beginner's guide, and gives a little bit of a description. And it's basically set out, in this case, a course outline with lessons. And I'll go through these briefly so that you can see them. And just remember this. I gave 3 video examples used as a reference so that the course is created on the content of these 3 videos. If I had 10 videos listed, the content would be different. If I had 1 video listed, the content would be different. So this is using the content videos that were given to it. And basically it creates the lesson content based on what was in the video. And you can see we've got some information that's here, key takeaways. And if I look, I can go to the next lesson. It'll go to the next lesson, talk about all the different things. And this is the part that I think is important for anyone creating courses. The big bottleneck for a lot of people was, I'm going to create a course, but I got to create videos. I just don't have the wherewithal to do it. It costs too much money to edit it. I need them to look a certain way. It's got to be super professional. That's often a big bottleneck for people. In this example, what's happening is because I'm using videos from a public or the public domain, and AI is creating the written course content and the quizzes and the practice exams, for example, or practice exercises, it's also available with the video that was used to create the course. And if you look in, it says this section covers version or 4 to 6 of the original video. So we've now got timestamps to the pieces of the video that are appropriate for the lesson that is being taught. So if it pulls from one video here, or there's a video that best represents what's being talked about in a lesson, it is now available in the course. And again, all of this is just an example of what can be done. The interface, the way it's formatted, what I really wanted to do is just show you that if I'm creating a course and I change some of the settings that are here on what I want to do, and I create it with different course preferences, I'm actually going to get a completely different course. It's the learner that designs the course, not the instructor. You as the instructor have a whole other job to do, which is what I'm going to cover in the next video. But the idea of a teacher or as an instructor as a course delivery mechanism, it's not going to work anymore. And you can see we've got a little bit of a different course here. YouTube video online course, a practical guide. So it's changed the title a little bit. We've got some quizzes here, a little bit different content through the different things. Once you got the platform, examples, takeaways. So the content is different again. This is, I'm really excited about this because I think it's going to happen more quickly than people realize. And it's going to allow us to build a business of education, not a business of creating content and throwing it up for everyone to see if they can find it. The content part, is important to create content, but not get hung up on the delivery of the content only. That is not the bottleneck anymore. The bottleneck is a couple things I'll actually talk about. Maybe I'll do that right now, just to, and then I'll go back to the other example that I did. Here's the part that is the is the thing that's making this important. Is that if I am if I'm now looking at this and saying, hey, I got YouTube as all of my content. How am I, or how do I fit in? Well, if the learner requests the question, AI does all of this different work and it's all different. The part that you have as the instructor is you, or the limit is on the questions that the learner asks from the tool. And it's been my firm belief, and it's why I always talk about building personally branded campuses. For you as the instructor, it's your guidance on what questions to want to ask and guide people through the process, and only use the courses to supplement the actual live interaction that you have with people. So I think courses in education business is about teaching again and helping people, either one to a couple or one to one or one to a small group, like in cohorts. That's where there's going to be huge value. For you just to distribute content, it's not of the same amount of value that maybe it was in the past, because these agentic courses are going to be able to create themselves for people. And I'll show you the other session that I put together just so that you can see how this one works. I did another one with a tool called Bolt. On this one, let me see if I can pull this one up for you. Yeah. So we'll do this one here. So this was a little bit of a different setup. This one, what happens was I actually had the user go through. In this case, I said, let me see if I can zoom it up for you here. This one I said, what do you want to learn? I want you to learn how to start a podcast to market and monetize my small business. I need to know what equipment I need and how to approach guests and get listed on iTunes. So that's a pretty specific request, right? So I'm assuming with Agentic Course Creator that the person knows that they need to know about iTunes, and they need to know they need equipment. That's something that the instructor should have said, hey, this is what's involved. If you want to learn about equipment, go ask the Agentic Course Creator. But in this particular example, I just did that. And then it says, what's your current knowledge level? Are you a beginner? Do you have some knowledge, intermediate, advanced? So, you kind of pick. I know the basics, but I want to learn more. Or I have an experience, but I need to fill the gaps. And then what do you want to learn? Well, I like step by step, or I want to do it, or I just show me what I need to know first, and then we'll get into it, or mix and match. And then how do I want it? Do I want it overviewed, or do I want it detailed? And then how many lessons do you want? 4 to 6 lessons, 8 to 12 lessons, and so on. So in this particular version, this learning path that I'm showing here actually gets created and given to AI to go and search YouTube for all of the videos that would be used to answer or format in a way that answers the questions the way people want. So it does a search on YouTube. It finds 5 videos, 10 videos, 15 videos. It analyzes the videos based on the learner's request and then creates the content just like in the other one. So any of these sessions are created, you're in a position where you're now really, really, really the guide or the mentor to the people, and that the course content is meant to supplement the work that you're doing with people. I'm excited about this. If you want to find out more, make sure to come to trainingsites.io/join. I'm there all the time. It's free to join the community. All of these videos and resources and stuff are available there. Plus, we do have our Campus Builders program, which we actually work one-on-one and one-to-many / private builders, where we actually do workshops live on a weekly basis, and actually create courses or create campuses or create marketing campaigns using the best strategies and also the AI tools that are appropriate for that. So make sure to go and join there. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the channel, please do that. My name is James Maduke, trainingsites.io. Take care, expect the best. We'll be back tomorrow with another great video, how to start, build, and grow your education business.